Hello everyone. Hello, we should be live. And hello, welcome for this February preview of Xen Orchestra 568. It's already the time for a new release. And this month we have some stuff to discuss about, some stuff to introduce to you, and some preview that we would like to introduce. Here with me is Olivier Lambert, our CEO.
Hello there.
And I think that we will not delay further, and we can start to introduce to you the release that will come just after the live. It will be available a few hours just after the live. So the first thing first, as we are introduced to you since a while now, we are working on Xen Orchestra Lite. And Xen Orchestra is progressing, still progressing. Our team actually are working currently on the UX design. This is a very important part for us because the UX design that we will use in Xen Orchestra Lite will also be a very important part of what will be used in Xen Orchestra 6, the next major version of Xen Orchestra. So this month we have a small glimpse, a small preview of what we are working on right now. It's not yet available for the public test, but it's just a glimpse of what we are working on. So, Oliver, if you have a word to say about the first one.
Yes, sure. So we wanted to share with you the new interface on how you will create virtual machines. So we did two screenshots, one in the default view and one in the dark mode. So the goal was to keep the fact that everything is in a single page to create a virtual machine, but we decided to make some cleaning on all the different fields that you might have when you create a virtual machine to keep only what matters every day when you create a machine, and put the advanced option behind parts that you can expand if needed. So this is, as Mark said, just a glimpse. It's a bit of a mock-up, but this is where toward we will go with the XL Lite. So you will be able to create virtual machines with something very simple and pretty clear, with a lot of information, but without too many in any case. So yeah, we hope to have this available hopefully in the next month. So hang on, and it's moving forward.
Yeah, also on that point, our UX designer Clémence will probably write dev blog during during March in order to introduce to you all the ideas and the work she has done in order to make XLite more clear and easy to use as possible. So moving on the next topic, we are also working on a public API, a REST API. So about that, Oliver, what do you want to
say? So first, a bit of context. So as you may already know, we got already an API in Xen Orchestra that was in fact built by design to help communication between the web browser and the server components, which is XO server. And because we are very often refreshing all the objects coming from the XCP-ng hosts, we had to use WebSockets. So it's basically JSON RPC inside WebSockets. That's really great for what we need between XO server and XO web. But if you want something very simple to use, from from the command line or things like that, it's not ideal because you have to build your calls inside a WebSockets and then use JSON RPC. So that's why we wanted to create a new API that we called the public API. So that's very early work, but this is designed for people who just want to get information from Xen Orchestra using basically just, for example, curl from a console. And to that, we built it separately as completely a new thing. So we'll continue to keep our existing API the way we used previously, but the public one will be documented and meant for users who really want to use it from the command line. So there is some example in the blog posts, but in very short, it's pretty simple. You create a token, and from this token, then you could use basically curl or anything else, to do an HTTP request, to request objects like VMs and so on. So there is a documentation available, and it's just a start. Obviously, feedback will be welcome on what you need. It's meant to be really simple first. Then if you want to get more advanced scenarios, then you might rely on the existing API. But still, feel free to experiment and give us feedback on that.
The next thing is about the SR creations. So until now, when you were creating an SR, we were assuming that all the users were familiar with the format they were using. So it leads us to some issues with some users recently that we have some support ticket about that. So we made some change. Actually, it's more a QoL change. It's about it's a checkbox in a validation box before creating SR. Especially, Oliver, in X or LVM format, if I guess correctly.
Yes. So in fact, that was made because users that weren't really aware about how it works behind the scene when you create a storage repository on SR, then you might wipe your local drive. So our usual users were, I would say, before, in the last 2 years, people coming from the Xen server world. So they were aware about all the internals. But since those last 2 years, we started to have Proxmox users, VMware users starting to make tests and even run production with our platform. And for them, having a message, giving you a hint on what's going on if you do that is really, really important. So we continue our transition to be a platform that was, meant for Xen server users to be a more, addressing more and more people coming even outside the Xen world. So that's why it's just a message, but still this is, proof that we are working for everyone around, not just our previous Xen server users.
No. The next topic is about the health view. We have improved it too. We have added a new table in it that will allow you to see the coalesce actually occurring in your infrastructure at a single moment. So coalesce, while coalesce is a normal process, it's supposed to occur in your infrastructure, especially when you are deleting VDIs from snapshots or stuff like that. Sometimes too many coalesce at the same time are leading to too long chain, and that could create issues in your infrastructure. So the idea is to prevent issue to occur, not to solve them. It's to prevent it before even to happen. And we have added this table in order to give you an idea at any moment of the coalesce that are happening in the infrastructure. And also, if you have more than 10 coalesce at a single moment for a same VDI, I think.
It's for the same storage repository, yes.
So if you have more than 10 happening at the same time, then we will display an alert on your console, because 10 is the beginning of the issues, I would say. So the idea is to avoid to perform any more action in your infrastructure at this moment that could trigger more coalesce and let them happen before actually move to what you were planning to do. Did I forgot something about this feature?
No, I think that's the main goal is to letting you know there is a lot of VDIs to coalesce on one storage repository. In general, that might be a normal thing, but if it stays for a while, it is not. So it's a way to get your attention and focus on that. So you will be aware. Previously, the information was only in the advanced view on your storage repository. So you had to dig a bit to check if there are some VDIs to coalesce. Now it will be visible if there's a pretty large quantity of VDI to coalesce. So it's a warning to help you to keep your infrastructure healthy, basically.
Yeah. And finally, we have improved a little bit the Delta backup. This is actually a groundwork. It's a new feature. It's something already available that will be helpful for all Delta backup jobs. But we are also planning to improve this feature in the future to provide even more flexibility in your infrastructure. So Oliver, if you want to talk about
so that was a request that we had, in fact, for a long time. It's the ability to restore a virtual machine on multiple storage repositories. is, for example, if you have more than one drive for your virtual machine, one small and one big, you might want to restore, for example, the small system drive on an SSD capable storage repository and the big drive on a slower HDD one. That's just an example, but it leaves you the choice on which storage to restore all the virtual machine disks. So that's more flexibility if you want to restore something. And this is one step, as Mark said, and in the future will even allow you to avoid restoring some disks if you just want to restore a system disk, for example, or just a data disk. So that will be up to you. So it's still progress on getting more flexibility on the backup and restore aspects.
Yeah, that's it for all the Xen Orchestra release. But we also have a XCP-ng release happening right now. And already available. It's about XCP-ng 8.2.1, and it's available. It's a maintenance release, which means that it's part of the XCP-ng LTS edition. So XCP-ng 8.2.1 is part of the LTS. It's the same version. And it's not a security release, it's a maintenance release. So it means that there is some new features inside it, some improvements, some fix, but no security, no sense of urgency when it comes to update it. However, it's a really good idea to update it because some of the enhancements coming inside of it were long time requested by customer. I'm thinking about the secure boot for VM. That are actually supported in the blog post, in the new release. But everything you need to know about XCP-ng 8.2.1 is available on the dedicated blog post. This blog post is already published, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
So you can already read all the news and all the changes that are happening in XCP-ng 8.2.1. Am I missing something?
So just a quick recap. So basically, as Mark said, that's an update. It's not a new version per se, but it contains a lot of updates, and we rebuilt the ISO also. I remember that we're updating the installation ISO not very often. In fact, the previous ISO was the day we released the 8.2 LTS. So it was September 2020, if I remember correctly. So we updated those installation images. This means that now if you install with this new ISO, then you will have all the previous updates already bundled. So you don't need to install and then update. So that's very handy if you need that. In terms of enhancement, so to give you a quick update, now we support officially the Rocket Lake processors from Intel. They are officially supported. Mark told also with Secure Boot, and if you want to use Secure Boot for your virtual machines, then I strongly suggest that you take a look on the documentation we updated today with all the details on what you need and you know all the potential limitation you might have. So take time to read that documentation first. Also, we fixed some other problems. For example, some Microsoft Windows users might have a problem installing a specific update. That's now fixed. Also, some components were going a pretty big jump in terms of version. I'm thinking about QEMU, which is used in XCP-ng. It was important to get that version of this new version of QEMU, so we could get VTPM support in the future. So we are working, in fact, on VTPM, and we hope to have something. I don't know exactly when, it's too early to say, but we'd like this year to have a VTPM capable feature, so you can boot Windows 11, for example, without any workaround. Also, since it's a new ISO, we managed to get some fixes, like you got a software read a problem during installation, it's fixed. So there's a lot of things that we improve, like log rotation, updated drivers, and so on. So that's why if now you are installing XCP-ng from scratch on a machine, then you will enjoy all of this. Since all the links to download the ISO are updated on our websites, so you can enjoy it right now. And if you are already using 8.2, a simple update through Xen Orchestra or Yum Updates will give you all the latest changes anyway. So feel free to provide feedback if there is any issue, but we did already a very decent amount of QA before releasing it. So we hope you will like that.
And finally, it's not a release, it's not something new, but as we are always working on the interoperability of Xen Orchestra and XCP-ng as well, we would like to have the community feedback, especially for those of you that are using Kubernetes, because we know that we have more and more users using Kubernetes. It's the solution, currently very trendy solution used pretty much in any situation. So we would like to know what you are doing with it, how are you using it, and especially what we can do inside Xen Orchestra or inside XCP-ng as well to help you to make your life easier as a system administrator, as a virtual infrastructure administrator. So we have created a dedicated topic that is available on xcpng.org/forum. And on this topic, feel free to provide any feedback you will have. It's not something that we are already constrained inside of a specific document or form. It's we would like to hear everything you have to say about Kubernetes and how you're using it within your infrastructure. So that's really important for us. And in the future, we will use your recommendation in order to create new features and a new solution that will help you on your day-to-day tasks. I think I pretty much covered it. So
yes,
if anything...
yeah, and to add something on this topic is it's also not meant just for a system administrator. Even if you are a developer working on Kubernetes and you like to have a better integration with XCP-ng, Xen Orchestra, with your everyday usage of Kubernetes that might run on-prem, if there's anything we could do to help you to make it the most straightforward as possible, then we'll be happy to assist. The initial thing we done was a recipes section in XOA where you could deploy a Kubernetes cluster with few clicks, but that's just an example on things that we could achieve. We could even go far beyond that, but we need to really understand if you are, it's a Venn diagram when we ask people both using Kubernetes and XCP-ng Xen Orchestra, and how, because you know both platforms, and then what we could do on our side to assist you. So that's the goal, the goal of this thread. So feel free to contribute, and we'll be happy to discuss together what could be done inside our platform for on-prem Kubernetes.
Okay, I think that sums up this preview release. So if you have any question about anything in that release, let us know, and we will be happy to answer it right now. And if there isn't any questions, so we will...
I'm posting the link in the chat regarding the blog post for the XCP-ng 2.1. Because Sam was in the chat, but without the permission to do that. So I posted it. We'll probably put it also in the description of the video, so you could access it later. Okay, and if there isn't any question, so I think we could conclude that live session here. The replay of this live session will be available very soon. The release newsletter will be sent in the next hour, I think, or so, and the technical release will be available for you to update your Xen Orchestra tonight, or today or tonight. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being there with us, and see you next month for the next release. Bye. Bye-bye.